What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 2 for 2, your sports podcast for the culture, by the voices of the culture. I'm your host, Keith, and I'm here as always with my brother Nelly. We are back on the pod today, man. We got another great episode coming for you guys. Season 4, episode 27. Let's get it. Now, we made it through football season. How you doing, man?
Feeling good. Good to be back. Good to put football to the side and put the true number one sport in the world back in the forefront. Let's get it.
Basketball. Do you know why I'm wearing this hat?
I suspect to look like Jalen Brunson when he does his podcast.
While that is a good idea, no. My GOAT, I keep that reserved for him. But, the only team to beat the Super Bowl champions this year
Interesting.
was us.
Interesting take.
Well, that beat them and didn't get beat back. We're the only team. Every other team,
Okay.
they beat them.
Yeah. Sure, you can find a lot of teams like that every year and say, hey, we beat the Super Bowl champs.
And this year it was us.
Did they hang banners for that?
Nah, I just need a haircut, so I put the hat on.
Oh,
But that was a true fact, though. That was a true fact. We did actually play probably the best game against them boys all season. It was good. Shows me how sad it is that we just didn't hit expectations. But you're right, man. Football season is behind us, right? So we got to put a bow on it. Recap the bowl, man. A very interesting affair, if you will. Obviously, the Seahawks come out on top this year. Dominating fashion, right now. Dominating fashion. Score was 29-13, Seattle. So looking at this game now, how did they get it done? What was the recipe that they used, and what made it work, man?
And I would say that defense. I mean, it was as a fan, it was a stinker of the first half. Obviously, we had 3 field goals and like 8 punts in the first half, so wasn't a great offensive showcase from either team. Obviously, even with the Seahawks still scoring, 29 points total, but yeah, it was a defensive game. Wouldn't be able to tell by the final score, but it was a defensive game in that first half. Dominated both sides of the football. Dominated the trenches. Got tons and tons of pressure on Drake May. We talked about that in our keys last week about protecting Drake May, just because you've seen the pressure that he's been under this entire postseason. I think the Patriots gave up at least 5 sacks
Every game.
a game, and every game 6 in the Super Bowl. I think they had like Seattle had like 19 pressures. So, I mean, it's impossible to get anything going when you can't protect your quarterback. And yeah, I mean, that was that. Drake May didn't look great, but he really didn't have much of a chance. Didn't get anything going on a ground game. I mean, Seattle's defense just dominated. Like they BTA, as they say, just completely just shut down the Patriots offense.
Yeah. They said Will Campbell had a torn ligament in his knee, man. That played part in his
14 pressures.
Yeah, not a great night for the Rook. Not a great night for the Patriots. I mean, Drake May, even when he had a chance to get something going, I think he was just so rattled that it didn't work. Shout out to Mike McDonald and that Seahawks, I mean, entire team, but especially that defense. I mean, he that guy's like that, right? Like flat out, you talk about. I saw people talking about that might have been one of the best defensively called games they ever, seen. You talked about the kicker, my guy Jason Myers, man. He had a good case for Super Bowl MVP.
Didn't he score the most points in the league this year?
He did. I was going to tell you, my guy at my job, the punter, he came. He let me know about the specialist of the week, and he was talking about how he broke LaDainian Tomlinson's record for most points in a season.
Insane.
So definitely big shout out to him. I mean, it's funny, you think about a kicker and it's like, well, that's their job. It's just like, yeah, but like, I mean, this is the biggest game of the year and every single one of those field goals mattered. And I mean, what was he? He was 5 for 5, Like that's pretty incredible. Like in the bowl, so getting it
Yeah.
done. But yeah, I mean Seattle just was too much, man. It's like it's hard to say. What it really wasn't much to it, right? Like you didn't see much on the side of the Patriots. You talked about uh we talked about Diggs before, man. Didn't lose the chef, lost his girl after the loss. Pretty sick for Diggs. Didn't really do much. What did he do statistically in that
I
one?
mean, nobody did pretty much anything statistically for
Yeah,
the New England
3
Patriots.
catches. Mac Hollins did. Got the one, the lone touchdown for those.
Yeah,
Not
that
the
was
lone one. He
crazy.
did get his.
They after they went up 19-0 and they went down in 4 plays and scored, and
Yeah, right. Like,
it's unfortunate.
okay. So, uh, but yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, hats off to Seattle. I mean, we talked about the Patriots, like what didn't go wrong. I mean, just I think the Seahawks outclassed them so much that it made you almost think they were like poorly coached and unprepared. And it's like, no, that's like that's not the case. But like they in that game they were outcoached. They looked like they weren't prepared. I mean, anything else you see on the Patriots side other than just
I mean, like,
disappointment?
yeah, just an ugly game all around. And like I said, coming into the Super Bowl, I thought a lot of people kind of weren't giving the Patriots a lot of credit, and obviously, just a ton of talk about their schedule and their path to the Super Bowl. I thought it would be a lot closer game just because their defense was playing really well, and I mean, it played great in the first half. I mean, you only gave up 9 points and 3 field goals. I feel like you're going into halftime, looking at it defensively, like we're still in it. We're giving ourselves a chance.
Yeah,
But I mean, overall, all those people those naysayers that question the Patriots' legitimacy, being a participant in the Super Bowl. I mean, they kind of looked correct after that. Obviously, I
yeah,
I think you still got to give credit to a team going on a run like that. Getting there is a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do to win football games, especially in January and February. So still getting there, you got to give them a ton of credit. But they definitely just like you said, they looked outclassed and outmatched.
yeah. Just unfair. You know, the Super Bowl winning quarterback, Sam Darnold. What a year for him.
Crazy to
What a
say.
career. What a
Crazy to
career
say.
he's had, right? From being, you know, rightfully ran out of town in New York. But as we know, like nothing works in New York and the journey that he's taken, the different stops. Obviously last year with the Vikings, how he did and, didn't get the contract. Comes over here to Seattle, takes over this team, gets it done. Um, where is he at now in the QB conversation within the league? He's got a Super Bowl. I think he was top five in passing, or top five in passing yards this year. Had a great season by all intents and purposes, right? Like it wasn't just he was just playing the position. He has some great games, put some good numbers, and obviously he won the Super Bowl. So where are you putting him at now, man?
Yeah,
In that combo,
I was trying to go through this earlier. He's definitely somewhere in the top 10, I feel like.
I'm with that. I'm fine
I
with
feel like
that.
he's stamped in the top 10. Now, where he places in the top 10, I feel like that's tough. I feel like I got to see it at this point now. We got 2 years in a row, great evidence. Regular season, especially regular season wise. He's put up great numbers on some pretty good teams. He's played with some great receivers and Justin Jefferson and JSN. Um, But looking at this list, let's see. I think we can still put Stafford over him, even though, he beat him in the NFC Championship. You still got, obviously the big four, Mahomes, Josh, Lamar, Burrow. And I feel like after that five, I feel like you could slot him in there at six. Now, I'm not saying I'm putting him in there at six, but I feel like you can slot him in there. Obviously, you still got, Love, Herbert, if you want to throw Dak in that conversation, Baker, Hurts, who else am I missing?
Golf.
Golf. Yeah, golf is actually, I have them written down here. Golf, like, but I feel like after the top five, I feel like 6 through 10, 11, I feel like they're all in the same tier. Like, any given year, if you've got the correct roster, Hurts, Sam Darnold, they can lead you to a Super Bowl. So I think he's firmly in that top 10 conversation.
Yeah.
Where in the top 10? that's that's up to anyone's opinion, but I think he's firm in that top 10.
I think that's fair. I mean, like you said, it's been 2 years of um, film at this point, right? We've seen it happen. 2 years of production, and he's been pretty consistent. I mean, last year he had the dud. Um, you know, at the end of the season where we were kind of like, ooh, that looked like Sam of old. But I mean, hey, I don't think he did anything this year to hurt his stock, and he definitely helped it. So I think he's firmly in that top 10 as well. I mean, especially when you think about it, um, after those, that core five guys that we're usually talking about, like if Sam Darnold's going head to head with any of the others, like it's a coin flip or, we giving the nod to Sam, right? It's not a flat out like, hell no. I was thinking about it from an all time standpoint. Um, does it is it possible for him to be like if we're like, all right, we don't know, like he's somewhere with like Dak, right now as far as where he is in the league, but could you still put him over Dak all time, considering he has a Super Bowl?
I
You see what I'm
could.
saying? You see
I
what I'm,
could.
you know what I'm
It'd probably
trying
be
to?
out of pocket, but I could.
Yeah, because
I
I
feel like
was thinking about like maybe
if
the
he
bowl
has
gives him.
five, let's say if he ends his career with five like elite seasons, as far as like he has 5 seasons like his last two, I would take that over Dak.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with is like I don't think like I think top 10 is cool where he is. And there's
At this
guys
point
like I
now,
said,
he's got the Super Bowl. At this point, I feel like it's just kind of building that regular season legacy and
yeah, yeah,
consistency. Because I mean, if he
right.
goes 5 straight seasons putting up the same numbers that he's put up the last two, I mean
It it
that's a great 7 year stretch.
Yeah, it increases his all time potential. I don't think getting this one moves him up. I don't think it's moving kind of where he was on my list of quarterbacks anyway. But like all time is like now, like you said, like he has a great surface. Like right now, he can really only go up, right? Like he could.
He could fall back down, but
I mean, he could, but that's a very
like I
far
don't think
leap.
anybody's going
Like,
to sit here and next season. The conversation will be, can we trust Sam Darnold in the playoffs? Like I don't think that'll be a conversation
yeah,
anymore.
right, right.
Whether
Okay, you're
he
right.
has a
That's
good
right.
year or a bad year,
Yeah,
anytime his teams make the postseason now, he's a quarterback that could get you to the promised land.
yeah, and he's done it.
Whether he
Right.
wins
So
another one or not, he's done it before, so you got to give him that kind of respect.
yeah, shout out to Sam, man. That's a
And I
quick turnaround.
really quick turnaround. And I will say one thing about just the Seahawks in general and how they won the Super Bowl. Last 2 years, running backs have carried the Super Bowl run. Um, we know about Jalen Hurts, all time season last year and in the postseason. And then, this year, obviously, the Seahawks had some great quarterback play in the regular season and especially the NFC Championship and the playoffs with Sam Darnold. But Kenneth Walker, our the Super Bowl MVP,
Talk to
I mean,
him.
he set the tone.
Hmm.
At least 100 scrimmage yards in each game. Had over 135 rushing in the Super Bowl. I was 3 touchdowns against the Niners in the divisional round. I was sick that one touchdown at the end got
Got
called
called
back.
back.
That pissed me off.
He
That pissed
deserved
me off
that. He
bad.
deserved that.
He deserved that one. So yeah, shout out to him. He led all running backs and rushing in the postseason. Seattle was a top 10 rushing offense this year. Obviously, we know what they were defensively. So, I mean, defense and a run game, it is still the key to winning Super Bowls. You get a
Oh
couple
yeah,
outliers here and there, but you, you got a defense and a run game and a quarterback that won't lose it for you, and you've got a great chance of winning the Super Bowl. So,
yeah.
I mean, you look at the last 2 years with, like I said, Saquon had an incredible year. He had almost 500 yards rushing in the postseason last year. Kenneth Walker had over 300 yards in the postseason this year. Couple that with a top tier defense that isn't going to give up a ton of points and a quarterback that won't turn the ball over. You got a great chance of holding up that Lombardi Trophy at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, that's the recipe. And that was some, when we talked about the Patriots and we talked about this game beforehand, was what team could which team could establish the run, right? We talked about Stevenson and Henderson, and you look on the other side. Kenneth Walker, he held it down big time for those guys. So it's almost like the running back, position has a ton of value in the league. But
And
that
he'll
Kyler,
be. I think he's due for a contract this
yeah,
summer as well. So
yeah, he's gonna get some pay.
he'll have earned his payday.
Yeah, he'll get him some pay, man. So cool on them, man.
It's like the only time running backs get paid is after they run their team to a Super Bowl. That's the
Hey,
only way you
who
can
knew?
get paid these
Who
days.
knew? Yeah, before that, you don't get nothing. You're undervalued till they need you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's what an end to the year. Shout out to the Seahawks, man. That's a bow on this season in the NFL from 2 for 2, man. So it's been great. Bucks didn't win, but the right team did. Shout out to Seattle. Look at the NFC. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? The NFC turned up. That's 2 straight? 2 straight for the NFC. You gotta get one more.
Who cares?
I mean, nobody. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Like,
Bringing out the pom poms for the NFC.
NFC running shit. It's all right. You'll get there soon. We'll get there soon. NBA. Trade deadline went down. A lot of moves. We talked about some. Who do you think improved the most at this trade deadline this season?
So call me crazy, but I love what the Wizards did
For the future.
for the future. I feel like they're building something. Obviously, a lot of that, depends on the health of the 2 stars that they traded for, Trey and AD. And, with AD, that's a tough one. But
Right.
if he's healthy, along with Trey, great pick and roll passer, great lob passer, they got some nice things there. They didn't give up a ton to get these guys.
No.
You still got Trey Johnson, who I think is, looked pretty well. Some games showed some potential. Sarr has looked really good this year. He's looked like the better of the top 2 picks in his draft. So they got some things brewing in Washington. I like what they did. As far as like contenders, well, not really contenders, but Pistons adding Kevin Herter is okay. They definitely badly needed some shooting, so I do like that. Wolves getting Ayo Dosunmu was a good
That's
pickup.
Sneaky move.
And I think he had 21 the other night, so that's definitely a nice piece for them.
He might end up
Celtics getting Vucevic. Thought that was a solid move, but it's a weird fit. I like the move.
I think it's a fit. I just don't think it elevates him.
They needed a starting center, and I like whoever the dude was that they had starting in front of him.
Kada. He sucks.
Yeah, I do like. Nah, he's solid, but he's solid as a backup big. He's solid coming off the bench. As a starter, that's not a good starting center. But coming off the bench, like it's a much better role for him, and he can have an impact off the bench. But what I don't really love about it is, the Celtics, especially past 5-10 years, their bigs have always been able to defend. That's not Vucevic. He's going to be a liability in the pick and roll. He's going to be soft down there. He's not going to protect the rim. He's not Al Horford. He's not the threat. The shot blocking threat that Vucevic was. I mean, that Kristaps was for them. So Kristaps is just a better player when healthy, but same with Robert Williams, Al Horford. He doesn't bring that kind of defensive intensity that those bigs brought. So it'll just be an interesting fit for the postseason to see how they play. But still, you have another guy that can rebound. Really good rebounder, can space the floor, knock down some threes, post up. He can score. So I think that'll help him, help the Celtics, and it's a solid move for them to get a starting center. Just they got to play the Sixers. That is barbecue chicken for Embiid. Like I'm usually terrified playing against the Celtics, but that would definitely ease some things for me. Warriors getting Kristaps is interesting. I mean, it's for Kuminga, who obviously they hated. So I mean that's good for both sides. If he can get on the court and stay healthy,
Yeah.
Solid
I like
move. So,
I like it for the Hawks too. I mean, I don't dislike it for the Hawks. Him and Buddy
yeah,
go
it's,
alongside the other wings over
it's all right.
there. I mean,
I don't
it'll be
think
cool.
anyone made, obviously, the Cavs made, the biggest splash of the trade deadline, getting Harden
Harden.
and, Wizards, gearing up for the future. Um, I don't really know what Harden is going to bring. Obviously, they got a big win. They've been looking good, playing against Denver, but same thing. They've got a ton of guys on that team right now that are hard to trust come postseason time. And that's just the biggest thing. It's a good roster. It's a good team. We've been saying that about the Cavs for the last I don't know how many years. But at the end of the day, they've got to get it done in the postseason, and that's just what we haven't seen. And James Harden, for better or worse, that's been the biggest knock on him throughout his career. We've seen it year after year. I don't think there's, other than maybe the Houston years when they were losing to Golden State, where it's just
Yeah.
like that was just the better team. I don't really fault him for losing to the Warriors. But like every other playoff loss after that, you can look at him and be like, what happened to him in game 6 and 7 and towards the end of that series? The Spurs, you had, the game 6 against the Spurs where he had like 10 turnovers. Um, Obviously, he disappeared in game 6 and 7 with the Sixers against the Celtics, disappeared in game 7 with the Clippers against the Nuggets. Um, just a lot of disappearing acts and the biggest of moments. So that still worries me. Um, Jared Allen as a playoff center still worries me. Those are just things that I can't really see them getting it done with that roster. But
Yeah.
you know, we'll see what it looks like come playoff time. Like I said, if it was ever going to happen, it's going to be in the Eastern Conference where it doesn't really feel like there's one absolute juggernaut that is dominating that conference. So they're in the mix, and that's best thing you can say about that. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously that move for Cleveland is the talk of the town, right? It's the one move that you can say when we're talking about who improved the most in terms of their, I guess, ceiling, right? Um Garland for Harden at this point. It is what it is. Um but to your point as well, you mean we have to see it to believe it, right? Like it, something about James Harden and it just doesn't get done. I know Evan Mobley hasn't played with them yet, so I'll be curious to see how that looks. Obviously they've gotten some wins and he's been sitting. So I mean that, if you're a Cavs fan, obviously you're probably ecstatic, right? Like and you got two guys now that you have, they're two of the best scorers in the NBA, right? Two of the top guys that getting hot quick, going on a quick run by themselves. And that's why they're winning, right? Like down the stretch in the fourth quarter, you think about a playoff game, right? Where it's like, well, we have two guys that are going to control the ball and can get us shots, right? And so if you're a Cavs fan, you got to be feeling happy about that. But I mean, it'll be yet to be seen. Um, you talked about some other moves that I liked. Even I think looking at the end of for the Clippers, right, where they end with Garland and Benedict Mathurin, and they essentially send out James Harden and Zubac. I think, thinking about where they're trying to go, right, from now on, right, they're still Kawhi Leonard's team, obviously,
where are they
but
trying to go?
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to figure that they're trying to plan something for when that ends, which will be soon. So then you get, two young league guards that can, hopefully play off each other well. Benedict Mathurin has a lot of untapped, I think, potential left, in him. Nah, I was going to say left, just untapped potential that we didn't get to see. I mean, this is a guy, he was what? He was a top 5 pick, if I'm not mistaken. He might have been
I think it was
top,
7th.
yeah, okay, maybe 8, yeah, top 8. So, and we knew what he did at Arizona in college, and what we've seen him do in spurts. What we saw him do in spurts with the Pacers. So I'm excited to see that. I mean, I wish that Garland was going to play this year because I want to see Garland and Mathurin, and I think he might
He's
end up
out for the
playing. But
entire year.
I saw something saying like they're not going to rush him back. Apparently, both of his toes are messed up, not just one.
Oh yeah,
Because
he's
he
cooked.
got both. So we'll see. Another sneaky move that I like. The Lakers getting Luke Kennard to give up Gabe Vincent, who, you picked up as that, insert shooter here role, and it didn't work out, but you get Luke Kennard, the only guy to score more points in Ohio basketball history outside of LeBron. Um, over LeBron. I think he helps him out when they get Luka. But in terms of will it make them like it didn't make them, crazy, crazy contenders. So but I do like the move. And then obviously my Knicks getting Jose Alvarado essentially for nothing. We got rid of Yabusele. Um they actually said Yabusele like restructured his contract for us so that he could make that deal, and we got a guy that we just shipped back off for Jose. So pretty much Yabusele for Jose swap, getting a guy that,
Should have just stayed in Philly.
I mean, he should have. But you see him in Chicago, he's having a blast. They're letting him get his rocks off now. He out there hooping. So good on him. But you see the Knicks, they get a guy that, I think brings a level of energy and toughness that you need to win, you know, meaningful series in this league. So shout out to them as well. Do you see any teams that you think just wasted the deadline? They should have made a move, they didn't, or they made a move and you just like, what the hell?
Yeah, so I know you said you like the Lakers move, and it's just solid move. Great shooter. It's always gonna help. But
Yeah, nothing, not a
what
big
did
move
what
though.
did what did Kendrick say on TV off? It's not enough.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
not
It's
enough.
not. It's not.
Um, he's not gonna help them defensively.
He's not.
That's for sure. Um, it's not gonna help them with size. It's not gonna help them with rebound and rim protection and perimeter defense. So they needed shooting. They needed guys that can knock down shots. So definitely helps. But I don't feel like they did enough in terms of getting something back, something that can help them defensively. That's going to do anything to help them advance further in the postseason than they did
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah. No, that's
Um,
fair.
Another team, obviously, my Sixers. Terrible, terrible, terrible deadline. Uh,
Gave up your boy.
what Morey is doing is malpractice. Our backup point guard is now Kyle Lowry. Which is it's just bad. It's just bad, obviously. And what really upset me about the move is after I forgot who he played, but Embiid, they asked Embiid about making moves at the deadline, and he flat out said, I feel like we got a chance this year. We're close. I feel like I'd like ownership to go out and try to make moves to improve the team and go for it instead of just trying to get under the luxury tax, which is what they've done the last couple of
Yep.
years. And what do they do? Not even 2 days later, they make a move to get under a luxury tax, and they trade one of the most popular players in the city and on the basketball team. You've heard a bunch of players just talk about how they're going to miss his energy and the kind of person he was in that locker room. For a guy that I know what I saw last year. Like I understand the struggles that he had this year, but I know what I saw last year. The things that he can do on the court. Torres meniscus still kind of getting back to it. And I feel like he was kind of coming along, especially a couple weeks before the deadline, which is probably why they were like, "Oh, let's try to sell high on it," which Morey said. Which I just think it was a stupid move. And like I said, now you're left with Kyle Lowry as your backup. You didn't make any moves to improve the team. You just traded him for picks, so you made no moves to actually improve the roster to go ahead and try to compete. So, I mean, if the front office is just mailing in this season, I might as well just mail it in too, because we ain't going anywhere with the roster that we got now. So, that's just that. The bench got worse. The depth got worse. They did nothing. It's
Can you get
like I
is the
said,
buyout market possible? What y'all got? Do y'all have
if
money? I
anything on
mean,
the buyout market is
obviously
trash, I'm sorry. It's garbage. Like,
Chris Paul.
don't try to sell me on anything on the buyout market. There's a reason these players are on the buyout market.
That's fair.
There's
That's
that.
recent.
And
That's
then,
fair.
I really don't really have any beef with any other teams other than, Rockets not going out trying to get some point guard help. Thought that would have, been a good move for them, or at least go out, grab another shooter. Kings are, confusing because I just don't
Purgatory.
know what they want to do with their roster. So yeah, that's about it. Like I said, Clippers, a lot of interesting moves. They don't know if they want to blow it up or kind of be in playoff contention. So those are the teams. But yeah, Sixers really, that was nasty.
Yeah.
That was probably the nastiest team at the deadline, because you have Embiid, who a lot of people, there were reports last year. They were like, he might retire. Like, let's try to get out of this, and maybe there's a way that we can save some money if he retires this offseason. You got Maxey averaging close to 30 a game this year, and we're just sitting. We're content with losing in the first round, and
Yeah.
that's the disheartening part about it. Because when you got an elite duo like Maxine and Embiid, you should at least. And Embiid only has a few years left. Like I said, this wasn't even a season that Sixers fans could fathom him looking the way he's looked the last couple of weeks. I didn't think we'd ever get back to a point where he's scoring 30 for an 8 out of 10 stretch. So for him to be playing like that, for Max to be playing like that, I know PG has the suspension, but I thought he was playing great defensively and kind of getting on track offensively before the suspension. For them not to go make a move to try to help this roster out, to really try to contend for a championship in an Eastern Conference that, like I said earlier, just doesn't have a juggernaut in it, doesn't have a team that's overwhelmingly dominating the conference that you look at, like, the Celtics a couple years ago, where it's like, all right, well, nobody's going to beat this team. So, maybe let's take a gap year or something like that. Like, no, like this was the year to go all in. So
Yeah, I get that.
I am through with that front office because they just blew it. So floor is yours. I'm done.
No, I mean that's a way to do it. I mean, the only team I really beefing with is the Milwaukee Bucks, and we see Giannis not move.
I told you he wasn't getting traded.
Yeah, I mean, and I told you what's gonna happen.
We'll see.
But
they got Cam Thomas though.
They did
got
get
Mr.
Cam
Buckets.
Thomas. They did get Cam Thomas, which is also interesting for him to, you talk about the buyout market. He has an opportunity to pick any team that he wants to go to, and then he goes to the Bucks. It's like, all right,
some shots gonna be there.
I mean, I get it. I get it. Bobby Porter's gonna slap the hell out of him too. You better tread lightly over there in Milwaukee. But yeah, I mean, just them, and then for Giannis, I don't even know if I'm more like weirded out by Giannis coming out with I want to be here thing again. It's like, what's going on, man?
And then in June, he's gonna be like, maybe it's time for me to go.
It's just kind of weird. Like, are you coming back to play this season? Like, what's the goal? Like, what are we thinking about? So, I don't know. We'll see what they do. I guess he's just got a calf strain. If he ends up playing again, they'll try to make some sort of push again. But yeah, weird movement by them to continue to blow smoke. I guess they're gonna wait on that offer that they want. I mean, why not? Why not? If you can get it, get it. So, but yeah, definitely crazy to hear about from the Sixers standpoint. I didn't really even think about that. But
nasty move.
But you talked about the East, right? We got the number 1 and number 2 teams in the East, the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. Similar to how we ended off with your Sixers prior to a couple weeks ago. The Knicks are 2-0 or 0-2 against the Pistons on the season. Actually, have gotten beaten by 30 in both, if my memory serves me correctly.
Your memory does.
Obviously, we were on a streak, played the Pistons, and they got smoked. Streak has restarted. But do you think that the Pistons have our number, man? Or, are you feeling like me? It's just one of them things. It's just one of them things. Like, last year.
So I was ready to come on here and say, they might have the Knicks number. But then I was reminded that I don't know if it was 4-1 or 3-1 last year in the regular season against the Knicks, and then obviously still lost in the playoffs. So that just goes to show you how much the regular season matchups matter from time to time.
Yeah.
But in this case, I'm not going to say they have their number, but they are coming, and they want New York, and they want New York badly.
I'm aware.
That playoff loss, you can tell that playoff loss last year still stings. And then
it does.
They want it back in blood, and you can see it every single time that they face off against New York. So I just feel like that's something to take a look at, because they seem to play their A++ game when they see the Knicks on the schedule.
Most teams do. But
so
you're right.
Is that going to correlate to winning a 7-game series in the playoffs? Not always. It might not. But I'll tell you what, I expect to see 7 of them things if they do match up this year, and with the Pistons having Maybe we'll see with all the suspensions now.
Yeah,
We'll see
suspend
how the
all of them for the
standings
whole year.
how the standings shake up. But if they have home court in that game 7, who knows? We'll see.
I mean,
But
hey,
I think they have a ton of animosity for the Knicks, and they really are looking for revenge following that postseason loss last year, a series which they felt like they probably could have and should have won. A few games let slip away, and JB Bickerstaff talked a lot in the summer about the Knicks and that series, and wanting to see them again. So I feel like they want it bad enough, and if they played again in the playoffs, I feel like it'd be a real good series. But I'm not gonna write the Knicks off yet from if they face the Pistons in the playoff. I still think it's a toss up. Still think, as I said, I would have liked to see them grab maybe another shooter. I still think they got some question marks offensively. When in that half court offense, we know the Thompson twins. You could lock them in the gym for 6 hours, and you come back in the morning, and they ain't make no jump shots. So that's
man,
something that always comes into play in the postseason. I believe in Cade though. Definitely believe in Cade to show up. He had a great playoffs last year. Having a great season this year. But them boys in Detroit gotta stay even keel. Gotta keep your
man,
emotions in check.
they got that right there.
How many games
Once shows me.
did Beef Stew get?
I don't think they put it out there yet.
Okay.
He's getting at least 20. You can't do that. You can't do that. But I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's more, because you
yeah,
really not supposed to come off the bench.
yeah, no, he's gonna get the worst one because
That's the no. Yeah.
and then I think what makes it worse is that him and JB Bickerstaff both showed zero remorse about it afterwards. Like
I didn't
Stu's
see what
like
they said after.
Stu was like, I mean, you think I'm supposed to watch that? Like that's what you think they drafted me to Detroit for? And it's like
That's hilarious.
not to do. And then Bickerstaff's like Duran, that's like his little brother. So you see, after a while, they're like best friends. You see a little brother going to something, what you gonna do? And it's like that's your problem. They trying to really be on that. But I think
First of all, it's an NBA game. How bad was it going to get? How bad was it going to get? It's an NBA
right,
game.
bro. The still clips of like Stu running on the court, and then it's funny he runs on the court to get at Miles Bridges. It's like, what are y'all doing? The multiple angles of that are funny. So if y'all don't know, y'all need to go watch that fight clip. I think my biggest problem with the Knicks is that the Knicks are a very arrogant team in a way. Like we just have like an air. We have like that, like we're like Mike Brown has it. Jalen Brunson kind of has it. Obviously, we know Cat kind of has it. Josh Hart, and I think what we see when we play the Pistons is like you said, like a team like they real live took that loss to heart. Like to them, they're like, hey, we playing y'all for that, and we trying to beat the hell out y'all every time. And I think sometimes like the Knicks, they go into it like we go in. It's like it's just another game. And I feel like we don't take it to that level of like that personal level that we should. I feel like we don't really do that with many teams outside of like maybe the Celtics. Uh, and it's weird. So like that makes me nervous about it. But like they just have that team that in a regular season game where it's, oh, I'm about to get up in this guy. You got Thompson picking up Brunson full court. Like you say, he can't do nothing else. But his life's work will be making sure Jalen Brunson's in hell, and he actually like embodies that, which is fine. And so I think I think they try to do like the punk us thing. I'm not worried about that come playoff time. Like you said, offensively they don't have. I just don't think they have enough. Like Cade will probably score 30 on us every time we play them, right? Like I think that's kind of just one of those things where
Yeah, I don't
just
think
like
they really have a second go-to
yeah,
guy
it's gonna
offensively.
right. It's
Doran's
gonna
having a
happen.
good year, averaging 17, 18, whatever. But he's more so getting that off of Cade's
Cade, right? Off Cade.
his ability to get to the rim and draw defenses, and kind of his gravity, offensive rebounds, stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
and then the rest of the guys, Tobias Harris, more of a spot up guy now, get a couple mid range fadeaways, and pretty much everybody else are just spot up guys, guys running in transition. So in the playoffs, when the game slows down and just got to play half court offense, it'll get a little
yeah.
tougher. But,
Yeah,
do like them picking up Kevin Huerter at least, getting another shooter off the bench. So it'll help.
yeah.
But
Well,
we'll see.
it'll
Like
be
you
a
said,
fun
we'll
series.
see
It'll definitely be a fun
for
series.
sure.
And I mean, I gotta say, like,
And hey, hopefully they stay at 1 because who's climbing up them standings. My Charlotte Hornets.
oh yeah, that'd be cinema.
And that would be
That'd be cinema.
a good first round series.
That'd be awesome. I'd do anything for that again. That hey, Adam Silver just has to embrace it and
They
let it
could
happen.
finesse the 8th seed, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be all right. That'd be all right. Yeah. Sheesh. Well, we'll see. As like tempers are flaring as we get to the All-Star break, folks. People are tired. They ready for that break. You've been bumping with people all season. Especially two young teams like that in Detroit and Charlotte. Then you saw they got into it out in Atlanta too. I think Nas Reed and Muhammad Gay, they got into it too out there. So All-Star break is coming at a much needed time, folks. Just relax. You got one more Knicks Sixers fun game tomorrow night. Hopefully,
That's
enjoys
not going to
that
be
one.
fun.
It
That's not going
will.
to be
Y'all are
fun.
gonna play. We
First
got
home
people.
game off a 5-game road trip. That's all automatic go.
We got a game tonight. It's all right.
First game back at home off a long
Look,
road trip is an automatic L for almost every team.
Mitch is sitting tonight, getting ready for Embiid, icing up. He ready. He
Ain't
ready.
nothing to get ready for.
So we'll see, man. But that's gonna do it for this episode, man. It's season 4, episode 27. Keep showing love, y'all. We appreciate each and every one of you. You know where you can find us. You got us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, YouTube, at 2for2pod. There you go. You can find us. We appreciate y'all. We're gonna keep doing this for you guys with that. Keith Snell, 2for2. We out.